Welcome to our presentation on XBRLworks. XBRLworks is a cloud solution for creating, managing, and submitting documents to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. And, in case you're wondering who we are, NovaWorks is a leading provider of XBRL compliance technology. We have over 10 years of experience helping filers convert their disclosures to XBRL and inline XBRL for the Securities and Exchange Commission. We've decided to take that expertise and help filers like you submit your XBRL reports to the FERC. With XBRLworks, you can really simplify your FERC reporting. Your process no doubt begins with collecting data from several different sources within your company. You may have various team members from different departments who contribute to this process, so coordinating data collection can be challenging. Having a helping hand in keeping everything on track might be just what you need. Or perhaps you would prefer if you could work with those same team members and use a compliance tool that allows them direct access to specific pages of your FERC documents. With direct access, your team can review and update items if their source data changes. Whatever your specific needs are, we can help you meet them with XBRLworks. XBRLworks can be tailored to your workflow. There's never a need to change how you or your company work. Now, I'd like to take you on a guided tour of some of the many features of XBRLworks to show you how you can leverage this powerful yet simple software in your compliance reporting. Let's dive in. XBRLworks is a cloud solution, so you'll be able to access it from anywhere. Registering for an account is free and takes just a few minutes. Right now we're offering a free trial, so when you register, you'll be able to log in and immediately work with the forms and see how XBRLworks can interface with your compliance process. We know security for cloud software is a concern. XBRLworks allows for both multi-factor authentication and single sign-on using a Microsoft account, including corporate accounts through Azure Active Directory. If you have more questions about security, feel free to ask your account executive. So when you've signed into your account, you'll be automatically directed to your dashboard. The XBRLworks dashboard puts several resources right at your fingertips, so you can see the information that is most important to you as soon as you log in. We have a customizable calendar that displays deadlines for your FERC filings. That includes the hard deadlines set by the FERC, as well as self-imposed deadlines and milestones for your own submissions or projects. XBRLworks has many built-in task management tools. Every task I create for myself or that my team leader creates and assigns to me will be visible here on the calendar. Those tasks are attached to a FERC submission or even a specific page within the FERC submission, so I'll be able to see that as I work. To the right of my calendar, I can see my project list, including a quick link to the exact place I was working when I last left XBRLworks. These links will let me jump right back in and start working immediately. Other helpful items on the dashboard include a news feed with important information from the FERC that is updated regularly. There are also some links here to commonly used resources, such as the eForms website and to get help. But don't worry, XBRLworks is extremely simple to use. Most of our customers find that they don't need a lot of support to get started. It's a matter of logging in and just inputting their data. It's that easy. So at the top of the website, we'll see tools to manage our projects, our teams, and our tasks. Now I'm going to start a new project. Projects are what we use to bundle the data together for a single FERC submission. You may have also heard them referred to as FERC documents or filings. The project in XBRLworks keeps all your information for your FERC submission organized. The project will store related files, including documents that are meant to be submitted to the FERC with the filing, proof documents for review, the revision history for the form, as well as task information. To start a project, all I need to do is specify a name, which will be for my own reference. The name isn't filed to the FERC. I'll set the form type and the CID. You can see when I set the form type, the software suggested the start and end date for the period. I'm in Q3 right now, so it shows January 1st to September 30th for me. I can set the deadline for the project, which is when I would like to file it by. That's going to put the filing on my dashboard calendar so I can see the due date as it approaches. Then, if I'm collaborating with a team on the project, I can specify what team I would like to assign to the project. Depending on my needs, I might have just one team, or perhaps I have several teams. Projects that are assigned teams are visible to the members of that team. Our collaboration tools allow you to assign roles to your team members so they can access specific pages in the project. You can also limit access to tools within the software, so only certain team members can submit filings or edit appropriate data. I'm not going to go into much detail about the collaboration tools right now. The goal of this video is to just give you a feel for the product and how editing inside of it works. So let me just set this project to private. That means that none of my team members will be able to see it. I can change this later. I'll create the project. Once the project has been made, you'll see the project dashboard. This screen has all the important information about the project. I have a snapshot of the status of my project, so I can see my progress. I have the project details, which includes the information I just set, as well as when the project was last used to create a proof or last used to create the XBRL for the FERC. I also have the XBRL taxonomy. I can change all these things by clicking these edit buttons. So if I start a project and the FERC releases a new taxonomy, I can change the taxonomy. That's going to migrate all the data I've already added to my project to the new taxonomy. That process is automatic. Below the project details, I can see the links to each page in the form. I have the status of the page, when it was last modified, if there are tasks attached to the page, and then the revision history. The revision history gives an audit trail for the document. I can see all the revisions that were made on a per-page basis. I can also use the revision history to roll back to a previous version. Because this is a new project, there won't be a revision history quite yet. First, we need to add some data. I'm going to start by clicking on page 110, the balance sheet. In XBRLworks, the page looks like a table. We have each line item in gray. That shows the line number, the label for the row, and the reference information, which I can't change. Those values are specified by the FERC. On the right side of the screen, there are some white fields. This is where I can enter my data. There are several approaches to adding data. I could, of course, enter it by just typing in the field, which might be a reasonable method for certain items, but probably too time-consuming for these tables. I find the easiest way to get data into the form is to simply copy and paste it. A lot of these tables have information that comes from a spreadsheet. Provided the spreadsheet is in the same order as the table on the FERC document, I can easily copy it and paste it in. If you need templates for that, we can provide them. That will help you get your source data in the correct order. So I will copy data from an external document and just paste the whole thing right in. Now, XBRLworks has some helpful tools built right into the editor. If I click on row 2, you can see some highlighting. That's letting me know that item 2C is part of a calculated total. I can have XBRLworks calculate these items for me automatically. When I click on a field that has a total, a little button that looks like an equals sign appears. Clicking that will force the value to recalculate. I can also set how I want XBRLworks to handle my calculations in my account preferences. The software can be told to just run the calculations every time I change a value. So I can change this number here and watch the calculations update after I input the data. Another very helpful tool is the Inspect Field button. I can inspect a field by clicking on this little question mark button. That gives me the information about the XBRL for the field. I can see the concept or element name from the taxonomy and the period the field represents. Here's the documentation for this field. That will help me understand what this item is if I have questions about what is being disclosed. I can also see other pages on my form where this item can appear. These places are linked so I can quickly navigate to them. Let's click on it. And XBRLworks opens the new page. The inspector said it was on line 13, so if we scroll down to line 13, here we go. You can see our data is already there. XBRLworks doesn't just create XBRL data from your spreadsheets or your documents. What you have in front of you is a rendering of that XBRL data. As you enter your data into the fields, you're working with XBRL. Who knew XBRL was this easy, right? Let's look at another page. As you know, most ferc filings have different kinds of tables. We have tables like the balance sheet, where each row is specifically laid out. But then we also have tables where each line of data is specified by the filer. I'm going to quickly show you page 232. So for this type of table, I need to add rows for each item I need to disclose. As with the balance sheet, I can manually edit my form. But that can be tedious and also might introduce typing errors. So it's not the ideal way of getting my data into here. For this table, I can still use my copy and paste method. I can add the number of rows I need, copy my data from my external source, and paste it in. I can also import items directly from a CSV file by clicking the Import button. As you can see, when I added my data, the total row was automatically calculated for me. Let's look at a couple other things before we explore some more of the software. This top toolbar gives me important information about my page. Right now, you can see the software says I have unsaved changes. I can click Save to save those changes to my project. That's going to create a revision for the revision history. The browser will warn you if you try to navigate away with unsaved changes. And also, you cannot save certain critical errors to your project. For example, let me enter some bad data into this field. Validation happens as part of the save action. So it tried to save the page, checked the data, and now is telling me that I need to enter a valid number for this field. Navigating to and from pages will save automatically. If there's an error that prevents the save, the browser will ask you if you want to leave without saving your changes. Now I'm back on the project dashboard. You can see the project status is automatically updated. I've worked on 4 pages now, which were the identification page, the balance sheet, page 200, and page 232. I didn't have to enter data on the identification page and page 200. If you remember, those were data points that appear on other pages, which the software handled for me. That's why those pages appear here now as edited. When a page is ready for review, and I don't want anyone to change the data on it, I can lock the page so no one can edit it. I could just go to the Page Tools. You can see here I can click Lock, which locks the page. Now no one can edit it, so if I'm working with a team, that can help control my data. I can also mark the page as ready for review, which lets my team and me know that the data entry is complete for the page and it needs to be reviewed before filing. After it's been reviewed, I can mark the page as approved or rejected. When the page is approved, you can see all the fields are now completely locked. When I go back to the project dashboard, it's been updated to show that page as approved and completed. I'm going to head over to another project that I have already made some changes to, just to show a few more features of the software. So here's a project that's a little bit further along. We've added some more data points from our source documents and have several pages in various stages of our editing process. As I mentioned before, you are working with the XBRL right now. In XBRLworks, you get to edit your data in this simple interface, and the software stores everything behind the scenes as XBRL. At any time during my process, I can create an XBRL report from the software. I can do that by just clicking this Create XBRL button. That will create an XBRL report that I can then download. Maybe I have another program I want to use as part of my review process, or some external validation I want to run. This is going to give me the raw XBRL files to use for those purposes. Going back, I can also validate the project within XBRLworks. Our validation will create the XBRL report and run it through the same validation that is used by the ferc's eForms system. Any errors that would cause the eForms system to reject my filing will appear during the validation process. For example, you might find an error with the math, where the reported components of a total don't sum to the value that's being reported for that total. So this validation tool is going to let you see the integrity of your data before you file it to the ferc. XBRLworks offers further flexibility for reviewing your data. You can have your reviewers log on to XBRLworks and review your projects in this digital form. Or you can generate a proof of the XBRL data that renders your project like the eForms system does. When you request the HTML document for your filing from the eForms system, you can download your form as a readable report with your data embedded. XBRLworks does the same. You can click the proof button here and create that HTML document, which you can then share with your reviewers. You can leave comments for your reviewers through the software as well, which can be included on this HTML proof, but are not included when you send the document to the ferc. And, speaking of sending your document to the ferc, you can do that directly in XBRLworks. I set up my filing credentials for the eForms system in my account settings. When I click the Submit to Ferc button, it lets me know what credentials I am using as well as the information for the filing before sending the filing and any attached files to the ferc. These are just some of the powerful, yet simple, features of XBRLworks. If you have questions or would like a custom guided tour of the software, we will be happy to show you more. Call us at 585-424-1700 or email us at sales@novaworks.com. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful day.